40 years ago, 27 religious communities invested $360,000 to form the Leviticus 25-23 Alternative Fund. These visionary leaders knew that by pooling their resources, they could do more for those with less. They planted the seeds of justice that have enriched the lives of tens of thousands of people. The Leviticus Fund is a charitable loan fund established in 1983 to relieve poverty and foster social justice in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
The Leviticus Fund supports housing and community development for low-income people who are often voiceless and very vulnerable. So we support at the Leviticus Fund 5 different types of housing that are affordable. Also, charter public school development, child care development, health centers, as well as economic development projects that create jobs and provide essential retail services for residents of low-income neighborhoods.
The Sisters of St. Dominic of Blauvelt were among the first investors in the Leviticus Fund, but their relationship with a recent borrower goes back much further than that. In the 1940s, land that had belonged to their community for decades became the site of Camp Shanks, the largest debarkation point for troops leaving the East Coast for Europe during World War II. Rockland Homes for Heroes is developing 14 affordable housing units for formerly homeless veterans on the decommissioned Army base in Orangetown, New York, with the help of a construction loan of $1.1 million from the Leviticus Fund.
When you're sleeping in your car, when you're sleeping in the woods, when you're sleeping on the sidewalk, when you're going from one place to another, one bed to another, just to have a place to sleep from the rain and from the cold. We are doing what we're doing for those people who are lost. That my belief is that every human being, every single human being, needs a place to go to sleep safely. They didn't ask for payments until the project was over. That just doesn't happen in business. Here they lent us the money on good faith.
Another Leviticus-supported project with its roots in the faith community is St. Nick's Alliance. In 1974, a fire destroyed a row of buildings on Power Street in Brooklyn, leaving 18 families homeless. The congregation of St. Nicholas Church came together to aid the families and the whole community. What rose from the ashes was the St. Nicholas Neighborhood Preservation Corporation, now known as St. Nick's Alliance. In 2021, the Leviticus Fund closed its first loan to St. Nick's, a $6.6 million acquisition and pre-development loan to support a new 250-unit, deeply affordable senior housing complex.
St. Nick's Alliance does a number of important things in this community. One is we're working with young people to help them become lifelong learners and ensure that they are all achieving literacy by the 5th grade. We work with tenants that may be faced with illegal eviction to make sure they have safe, affordable housing. We work with young people looking for a job and train them in skills so that they can find careers in the tech sector, construction, as well as banking and other places as well. And then we provide services to seniors, both in-home, in housing, as well as in a naturally occurring retirement community and other places within our community. We also serve as a civic anchor, so we are here to take on whatever important project our community believes we should focus on. We are so appreciative to have the Leviticus Fund as a partner. It is enabling us to take on a very complex project to build an additional 210 units of senior housing as a third wing to Jennings Hall, which will give us a total of 350 units of senior housing.
In 2022, the Leviticus Fund closed its second loan to a nonprofit that specializes in second chances. For more than half a century, the Fortune Society has provided formerly incarcerated people with the tools, resources, and support they need to live as successful and contributing members of their communities. During the pandemic, the Fortune Society had a once-in-a-generation opportunity to acquire a struggling Upper West Side hotel and convert it into affordable housing.
Housing work is life-changing. It is a way of changing multi-generational patterns of trauma. It is a way of building families as we build individuals and giving people's children a brighter future than their parents might have had. Housing is the greatest gift that we can give to them to build new lives.
So I came to Fortune Society in 1991 after serving 2.5 years on a 2.5 to 5. I didn't understand what love was until I got here and met certain people. The only thing they cared about was me being successful. They wanted nothing in return. And they used to tell me all the time, we're gonna love you until you can learn to love yourself. And they were true to their words.
In New York's competitive real estate environment, you need to do something fast if you're going to do something at all. There was a window of time where hotels were available, and hotels can be converted into supportive and affordable housing, and we jumped. We could not have jumped for that opportunity if Leviticus hadn't given us pre-development funding. Fortune is honored to partner with Leviticus because Leviticus's purpose in being is to make a difference in people's lives out of faith and in the face of great injustice.
A retail plaza is the latest effort to seed new growth in Bridgeport, Connecticut's East End neighborhood, and the project's leader has deep roots in the community. Anthony Stewart, the developer of Honey Locust Square, grew up in the neighborhood.
This community was a thriving community. The streets were different. See, when I grew up as a little kid, you used to be able to look straight downtown Bridgeport. So you can see what was happening in downtown. I love these streets. I love what we used to do when we walked up and down them with my brothers and sisters and go to the ice cream shop. And there was ice cream shops, there was clothing stores, there was a Buster Brown, if you remember that shoe store for a long time ago. In the late 70s, early 80s, the drugs came into this community and they decimated the community. The Civic Block, Honey Locust Square, where I'm working now, used to have a hair salon on it. My mother was a beautician in that hair salon. But what we are offering, a plaza that has actually a grocery store, a bank, we have a healthcare facility, pharmacy, hair salon, and a jazz barbecue restaurant. It's gonna have a tremendous impact on the community. I think what I offer is the opportunity to expose the rest of the community to Leviticus and to the funding and the opportunities that they offer for developers to come in. That's what I'm most proud of. Leviticus makes a difference.
The EDRI initiative, which stands for Empowering Diverse Real Estate Entrepreneurs, is an effort by Leviticus to directly support developers, for-profits who are owned by people of color, to benefit them, to help them grow their business, to grow their income, but also to benefit the communities that they invest in with our money by supporting new projects that will provide housing for low-income families and individuals. What we want to do at the Leviticus Fund is provide resources, money, for our borrowers, mostly nonprofits, to transform their buildings for the future so they're more sustainable and they're more affordable and they're more durable. And what that means is to remove the fossil fuel systems that power these buildings and replace it with energy efficient, electric powered buildings for the future. And this not only will help the buildings operate more efficiently over time, lower the costs of the tenants and families living there, but also make the buildings healthier and the surrounding neighborhoods healthier. So our investors at the Leviticus Fund provide us with loan capital, and then we use that capital to fund the loans that support the work we do, and then in return they receive a reasonable rate of return on their loan. And that's a model that was set up in the very beginning that we've continued to this day, and we do have many more investors now, both religious communities, organizations, as well as individuals.
While the Leviticus Fund doesn't build houses, apartments, early learning centers, or economic development projects, they provide the hard-to-obtain financing that makes them possible. With the support of people like you, the Leviticus Fund will continue to plant the seeds of justice, and assist those who are vulnerable and often forgotten.
When our borrowers provide this kind of housing for people who are vulnerable and low income, it also sends another message. You matter, you are important, and you're worthy of the same care and dignity as anyone else.